Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and today we're going to be talking about hypnosis. And my special guest is Dr. Kapadia from Bangalore, India. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct, sir.
Dr.
Pleasure.
Kapadia, delighted to have
Hi.
you. And next to him is my wonderful friend Satish Verma. Satish Verma, who has been instrumental in bringing Dr. Kapadia from India. What I thought was maybe we do this into two segments. First, we'll talk about hypnosis, misconceptions about hypnosis, and how hypnosis could be useful in everyday life. Besides learning how to give hypnosis as a therapist. And during second half of the session, we'll talk about all the different programs that you're going to be conducting in the next 8 to 10 days in Houston. Oh? Okay, fine. Dr. Kapadia, let's start off with what is hypnosis and why there is such a sort of a stigma about hypnosis.
Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't use such a harsh word.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's quite factual. Your observation is factual.
Yeah.
It's not to be demeaning it or anything like that. Firstly, coming to the term hypnosis, the origin of the word hypnosis is from the Greek language, which is hypnos, and that means nervous sleep.
Yeah.
It's a slightly altered state of consciousness, which is natural. It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Which is the transitioning state between being fully awake and being fully asleep. Mm-hmm. So when we are fully awake, our body is awake and our mind is also awake. And when we are completely asleep, our mind goes to sleep and the body is in its own la-la land. Mm-hmm. This is the third state where the body is in a sleep state physiologically, but the mind is mentally awake.
I see. Yeah.
So it's a state that happens to everybody naturally just before you go to sleep and just when you wake up, when you are in a trancey space, that is a hypnotic space in which your conscious mind is awake and yet you have access to the subconscious database.
Yeah.
That's as far as the term hypnosis is concerned.
I see, yeah.
Now coming to the misnomer,
the
fear, the misuse. Well, the subconscious mind is where the power of the human lies, because that's what controls your heartbeat, your respiratory rate, your blood pressure. It keeps you alive. In the misuse space, somebody puts you into that state and takes control of your willpower. And then gets you to behave like a monkey or strips you of your watch and gold.
That's the stage hypnosis.
That's stage hypnosis. That's monkey hypnosis.
Entertainment.
And it's for entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's a different brand and a different way of inducing it. We don't go there.
I see.
This is professional healthcare. This is healthcare for betterment of the mind, the body and the spirit. The modality we follow is where we don't override the individual human will. We assist it to bring itself into a wholesome, happy state. So it's a very different technique and it's a very different space.
That's fascinating. Maybe let's start off about, is hypnosis useful in everyday life for ordinary people? Can they learn hypnosis enough to make it useful, in terms of dealing with everyday stress or anxiety or any type of, like somatic symptoms?
Sure. So keeping hypnosis out of the way. If we just look at individual human and ways of betterment, there is always a benchmark for excelling, for going up the curve.
That's right.
And every school across the world operates on those lines, where there is a constant motivation to better yourself, to improve, to develop a certain attitude, a certain quality that will get you to the top of where you are. Where do those qualities come from? They come from the subconscious mind.
I see.
Now, that can be tapped purely through will and determination, or they can be brought out much more easily by accessing the subconscious where it is already there. So, if you learn to tap into that on your own, and most people who are on the top of their profession have learned it in their own way, maybe through different routes, where on their own
I see.
base,
Yeah.
they can access that solid part
Yeah.
and bring out the juice, so as to speak, which gives them the power and the zip to
Yeah.
excel in life. So why would a common man do it? Simply to move into a much more productive,
Yeah.
effective, efficient, and a much more happier space in life without the accompanying stress.
That's
Win-win
fascinating.
situation.
In the medical field, of course, in cardiology and all this, we always talk about quality of life.
Yes, that's right.
And we have diseases. We have to live with the diseases, but the ultimate goal is to improve our quality of life and longevity, of course. But as far as hypnosis, how can an ordinary person learn hypnosis enough to improve their quality of life?
So basically, it's we have a fairly well spread out spectrum in terms of a curriculum that goes over several levels,
I see, yeah.
of which the first level, which is 2 days, is aimed by and large at everybody in this world,
Oh, I see.
because it gives you a much deeper understanding of the mind. If the body is the visible mind,
Yeah.
then the mind is the invisible body.
I
So
see.
you get a mirror on what you can't see, so as
Yeah.
to speak. So the level 1 course gives you that. Apart from that, it teaches you self-hypnosis, which means it teaches you how to access that database on yourself, for yourself,
Uh-huh.
to improve the quality of your own life. And it teaches you communication as a means of understanding people. Today, the prime cause of breakdown in everything is poor communication.
I see, yeah.
Because if you and I are communicating and I am precise on what I speak,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what you require to hear, and you are hearing what I am speaking, then we are on the same wavelength, and that's harmony. So everywhere, even in a relationship where there is a breakdown,
Yeah.
it's because what is being said, what is being heard, and what is being perceived and what is being acted upon are 4 different things. So the level 1 even gives you a much deeper understanding on
Yeah.
understanding communication. And if all these 3 are in place, you know what your mind is about. You're clear in your communication, both spoken and listening.
Yeah.
And then you have the power to access your inner space. That's a good enough formula to take your life to the next level.
That's fascinating. Okay, let's talk about how long does it take for like the general public to learn some hypnotic techniques
Yeah, so
to use in everyday life.
that would be the level 1 should be good enough, which
I
is 2
see.
days.
I see. What are all the things that you cover in these 2 days of training?
Yeah, in the 2 days of training, as I said, we cover hypnosis as a science,
Yeah.
its evolution and science. We cover the mind and how the mind works. We cover how to put a person into a hypnotic state.
I see.
How do we deepen the trance? How do we place suggestions there for change?
Yeah.
And how can we do that on our own? So, broadly speaking, that's the spectrum over 2 days.
So how does this actually work from a scientific perspective?
Getting into the trance state,
Yeah.
how it works? Okay. So, the easiest analogy would be to look at the human mind as a computer,
Yeah.
as a processor. And every processor, as we understand, has a certain processing speed
I
with
see.
which commands can be processed. Now, if you beat the processing speed, the computer will hang,
I see. Yeah.
which is how your phones hang. Because
that's
if
it.
you have an octa-core processor, but the amount of information that the processor has to process is more than that,
Like flooding the
freezes.
nerve, like the
That's
network.
flooding the network. Absolutely. So on similar lines, your mind has a certain processing speed. If we bombard that mind with more than its capacity to process, then it would freeze. And through the freeze state, you're then into a trance.
I see.
So if you, for example, attend a rock show, same thing happens.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So the music, the lights, the strobe, before any popular or famous artist comes to perform, you will always see that the opening gig is done by a couple of other musicians.
That's right. Yeah.
The whole idea of that is to put the people into a hypnotic space.
I
And they
see.
do that with overloading
see.
with music, with lights and the atmosphere. So that when the key artist actually comes on stage, the trance is already on.
I see. This could even work in classical music.
Oh,
because,
no, absolutely.
yeah,
This was
Yeah.
just an example.
That's
But you have so many areas of life where hypnosis is actually happening on a day-to-day basis.
That's right. We just don't know.
We don't realize that.
Yeah, that's fascinating. can they use this in terms of reducing stress
Oh, yes.
or some habits like smoking and
Completely. So, which of course, the moment you look at therapeutically applying it,
yeah.
then my recommendation is to go through the complete curriculum, because
see,
then
yeah.
we're looking at deeper issues. Stress reduction, etc., is very simple. In fact, today evening I was on a radio show,
I see.
and I just took them through a very simple 15-second exercise that just clears you and puts you into a kind of altered space. So those are very simple things.
Well, let's try it out.
Why not?
That was extremely simple breath work.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, just chill for a moment, take 15 seconds, breathe in through the nose and gently breathe out through the mouth as if you're blowing air into a balloon. That's important. Because then the nerves that come into play are slightly different. And you do this for about 10 to 15 seconds and you suddenly realize you're blank, you can't think.
I see.
Which is a trance, and that's good enough to clear your mind. Very easy.
That's fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching a Triple N talk show. I'm Dr. Nik Nikam, and we are talking about hypnosis, and my special guest is Dr. Kapadia. Kapadia from Bangalore, and next to him is my friend Satish Verma. Satish, let's talk about your Aham life and what inspired you to get Dr. Kapadia here, and we'll talk about the program that is going to be happening at the India House, right?
You see, when I heard about ECA, with Dr. Yuvraj's curriculum, so I was very inquisitive. Like, I wanted to learn something new, and I have my own issues. So I heard about him, so I tracked him down. He was in Dubai,
I see.
and I flew down to Dubai to see him. And it was like he was giving lectures there. He was teaching there, and he said, sorry, when I'm teaching, I don't have, I cannot give you sessions.
Yeah.
So he said, why don't you come to India? So I flew down to Bangalore. I had 2 sessions with him. And with that 2 sessions, what experience I have in my life, which changed and transformed my life. It's totally different. I was like very negative person. Now all of a sudden it changed to a new person with very positive attitude now. So it helped me even physically, myself. Then I went to Spain to do his level 1. All the way to Spain. I heard that he's doing in Spain, so I flew down from Houston to Spain to do level 1, and the experience was so good. That's why I thought about it. I said, if it can benefit people like me who have so much logical mind, and why not I bring this to Houston, where a lot of people need help also here. But when I came here, and I was shocked, especially in South Asian people like Indian, Pakistan, all those people. The word hypnosis means like saying that, oh, you're going to unconscious me. I said, that is not the hypnosis we are talking about. We are talking about clinical. We are talking about clinical healing hypnosis.
Yeah.
So it took some time to people. I gave few sessions to few people, especially to radio jockeys who said, Satish, I don't believe you. I said, okay. Until you experience yourself,
that's true,
you won't be able to believe. So I gave 2 sessions to 2 different people, and then they realized what is actually this is not what they see on TV or what they see on Las Vegas shows, where they are totally it's totally different. Here the mind is fully awake, the body goes to deep sleep, and when they come out of it, they remember everything. That's the beauty. So there is nothing like some people was telling me on the radio, oh, somebody hypnotized and took all the jewelry, but this is nothing to do with all those things.
That's fascinating.
So my experience was so beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and I requested Dr. Yuvraj if he has time, but I had to literally work very hard on him to get him here.
That's fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching a Triple N talk show. I'm Dr. Nik Nikam. We are talking about hypnosis, and my special guests are Yuvraj Kapadia and Satish Verma. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about the hypnosis program, 5 levels of hypnosis, which is going to be happening in India House in the next several days. So we'll be